Are you also feeling stuck trying to scale your Facebook ad account post-Andromeda? Well, there are some changes that you need to be aware of, and in this video, I go over how we're switching our campaign structure to be able to leverage the full potential of Andromeda within our campaign structures so that the diversification of creatives is leveraged to its full potential. We'll be going over the old approach of having a CPO campaign, multiple ad sets, 3 creatives within each ad set, versus the new approach of a CPO funnel campaign where you have the tough, buff creatives within this one campaign, and by leveraging Meta, they'll be able to pair it with the right customers. So if you're new to the channel and you like the video, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe. My name is Johannes. I run Profit on Ads. We're an e-commerce growth partner helping scale Shopify brands to 6-7 figures a month through paid ads with Meta, Google, TikTok, and email marketing. And over the past couple of years, we've spent millions of dollars profitably for our clients. Let's now jump into the video and I'll go over the profit campaigns that we're making for our clients. Cool, guys. So just a quick recap here from last video where we went over the creative advantage, unlocking the power of diversification with Meta and Andromeda. We want to understand the retrieval, ranking, and delivery system that Meta uses. So retrieval, they scan a bunch of your ads, millions of ads every day. Ranking, they look at the KPIs, the engagement, how many impressions, the CTR, the click-through rate, all that. And then based on that, they deliver it to the right candidates based on who they think is going to resonate most with the messaging of the ad. And that brings us over to the campaign structure, where we can dive right in. So the campaign framework of the old approach, which we used to use for the last couple of years, I think I've used this for the past 2 years, to be honest, usually like this. So we have one CBO campaign, multiple ad sets, 3 creatives per ad set, scaled by duplicating winning ad sets. Now you can sort of see it like this. You have a CPO campaign. For the past year, I'd say we've utilized Advantage Plus because it's just gotten so advanced. But in here, you would have 1 ad, 2 ad, free ad, and you would have another ad set with 1, 2, 3 ads. Here, usually we would test a bunch of different ads. You can test different copy, etc. And what you would then go ahead and do, you might see, okay, in ad set 2, ad 2 might do really well. Okay, well, you would then be able to scale the whole of the campaign by increasing by 20% as long as KPIs are doing well, because it's a CPO campaign. The budget is distributed on the campaign level, and that means that most of the budget will flow to that one single ad. But if you want to find new winners and you want to do more testing, you can duplicate the ad set, switch out the creatives, run the same copy of the second ad here that's doing well. And that way you'll be able to test a lot of winning assets like the text, the link, the headline, but you'll switch out the creative, and that way it'll be very easy for you to test a bunch of new ads in there and a bunch of creative diversification. If the campaign then thinks that that ad will perform better, it will slowly, within a couple of days, allocate more of the spend over to this new ad set. But this would be how we would be able to scale up a bunch of ads. And let me show you an example here. Here you guys can see a CBO campaign that is like this. Here you can see we have 163 ad sets. This is just the day from August 23rd. Here you can see this campaign alone spent $5,600 with a ROAS 230, $13,000 in conversion value. This is usually our top of funnel, bringing people in. So that's really nice. Here you can see how it's working. We have a bunch of different ad sets. We've relaunched these ad sets, and then we're able to switch out the creatives, and we're able to have this connection where if a creative that is switched out with the winning components of the text, the headline, and the correct link, we test the collection link versus the product page link, and so on. Then we know what's working, and we can just switch out the creatives, and it'll be very easy for us to get new ads going. Well, it's a little bit different now in the new approach. So here you can see the pros. I would say this old approach, it works better for small budgets. So below $300 a day, it gives a clear testing environment, at least more so than the new approach, because that is a little bit different. We're going to go into that. And if you want an even clearer testing environment, you can always test switching it to an ABO, where you dedicate like $50 to each ad set, and then you get like really clear testing results. The cons of this is limited creative diversity. and the ad set is not able to leverage new ads coming in because that might reset some of the learning. That was what we found over the past couple of years, that we would not really want to touch ad sets once they've been launched. And this old approach doesn't really align that well with Meta's new retrieval system of how they want to scan a bunch of different ads, rank them, and then pair them to the right people. So we haven't seen this has gone completely dead. We still have accounts where it's actually still performing quite well, but I would start with using it on small budgets, early stage testing, limited creative production. And you can, of course, also use images, graphics, throw that in there into the mix. But I do think this new approach that I'm going to be showing you guys now is a little bit more optimized for how to go about things. So the structure is one CPO campaign per hero product. You might be selling, let's say, fashion clothes and t-shirts. That's one hero product. It's a little bit different from pants, denim pants, or purses, or handbags, or whatever. So you might have a CPO campaign for the t-shirts. It's a single ad set. And then in here, you have 15 to 40 creatives per ad set. I would usually name them in the order of like, is it tough, muff, or bottom of funnel? Just in the first, and do like a vertical line, and then describe what it is in the ad so that you're able to understand it and get a really clear overview from it. But here you would have 15 plus creatives and up to about 40 creatives you can go for. Now, do bear in mind, if you're trying to do this at $100 with ad spend, you're going to have a really tough time because it's a really low spend with a lot of creative output. So I would suggest, depending on where you're currently spending, if you're spending $2,000 a day, yeah, go for it. You can have 30 different ads in there and you'll be testing them. The ones that are not performing, you'll be swapping, you'll be pausing them, and you'll switch in a new ad to take over its place to continue this testing. Now, this works really well for optimizing across large creative pool. It matches the retrieval ranking logic post-Andromeda that Meta wants us to go with. Cons, it demands a higher creative output. You really need to have a lot of creatives because you're also going to find it's not going to be as much of the same, where previously you could just have one ad that would just crush it completely. But now you're probably going to still see like 1, 2, 3 ads that are doing well, and probably still one ad that's going to take a big chunk of spend. The other ads are going to be way better performing than previously because you're going to have creative diversity and you're going to target different customer personas, which make those ads go in and perform a bit better now instead of just having this one killer ad. So that's going to help a lot, but you need a high creative output. And I'm talking with the accounts where we're spending like 5,000 plus a day on one campaign. Like, you need, I would say, like at least 20 new creators a week to really keep up with that demand, because you're going to be running through so many creatives in such a short span. And you might have a winner ad and you'll be able to run it for a month and a half and it's going to do well, but then you need new ads to take over, because at that pace you're going to reach millions of people quite fast. I would say this is a much better approach to use when scaling above $1,000 a day. Brands with content machines in place, as you're going to need that content output, and especially when you have a lot of variety across personas, it's really nice. So this is the new approach, how it's going to look. Essentially, we keep the Advantage Plus super broad. Of course, if there's a female audience in there, well, you can go and click females. If it's like women's handbags, click females. Like, it doesn't have to be so advanced. So, but usually we want to keep it very broad. And then we upload our audience list, like who add to carts, purchases, or newsletters into Meta's algorithm. And they'll be able to segment who's new customer, existing customer, engaged customer by themselves. I wanted to also go in here and show you guys just a example of the old approach. This account, we're still utilizing the old approach. We have a CPO campaign, and here we have a bunch of different ad sets. Now, in here, as you might be able to see, we do have 4 purchases within these 2 ad sets. Now, not all of these are active. I believe that we have about 10 active ad sets, but this is what I'm talking about. There's 2 ad sets that are taking the majority of spend. Here you guys can see, I mean, the results are really good, with about a ROAS 15.5 over the past 14 days. And also, this was just a month ago. The old approach still work. Now, if I go in and do like, okay, what about the 27th? well, it did 218. So it's not like it's taken a drastic downward turn. But we've also taken the new approach live. And here, this is the one that we're currently scaling. And in here, you can see currently we have actually 38 ads live. And within these 38 ads, we've had 58 purchases on 2 days ago. And 51 of those purchases was actually just from one ad. So it's not exactly a science that it's just going to be divided equally out between all of the ads. The algorithm is supposed to be better at distributing the purchases, but we do see ad accounts like this still. And it's also something that we're finding on other ad accounts where we have a lot more purchases. If we go in here, we can see, okay, here's actually a pretty well distributed. We have different ad sets for the hero product of the campaign with the old approach. And here we can see, okay, this campaign here, we have a ROAS 36. We spent $288, made back 10,000 and a half. So the old approach still can work really well, but we are really testing them against each other to find out what is performing the best. This is still the early stages, so which structure to go with and everything. But at smaller budgets, I still think the old approach is really, really good. I think that when it comes to scale and managing, the new approach can be really, really cool too. So the testing framework that I would go ahead with, start small with the old approach for proof of concept, add new creatives, shift into the CPO funnel once you're starting to spend 500, 600, closer to $1,000 per day. You'll have these two running alongside each other. I mean, don't pause something if it's working, just try to build the other alongside it. And of course, don't start it from $500 a day. You'll start it with $100, and then you'll have 5, 6 creatives in there. If they perform well, you scale it 20% every day. The KPIs are healthy, and then you'll be able to scale it over time, add more creatives into it, and it's going to get a life on its own. Step 3, compare CPMs, CPCs, ROAS trends between the two campaigns. Double down on what works. Again, if it's working, don't stop it. A super essential tip for you guys is the buyer persona funnel and the new approach. Please be aware of the messaging in each creative. Is it awareness? Are these hooks for awareness? Like, what are we trying to accomplish? Are we trying to get our product out there for people to understand it? Like, stopping people on the street, asking, what is that you're wearing? Or a really fast cut video that's really cool and like grabs your attention, pulls people in, and then they're like, oh, what's that? And then later they might receive a video where it's the product showcase, a testimonial of how the product changed someone's life or made their life super comfortable, depending on the product. If they love a t-shirt, like, yeah, look at me now, like now I have this t-shirt, right? You've all seen those true classic t-shirt ads where this guy is dancing really weird, and then they're sitting, this one was in front of the boss who's depicted as a little bit more of a nerd, and he's not wearing the right t-shirt, and it's like, it's really funny, but it's a lot of awareness, but it's also bringing people through the stages. And then they're retargeting people afterwards with a bunch of different ads to give them a feel for, okay, this is what the product was actually about and what people actually think of the quality of the product. In the bottom of funnel, you can have carousels. I think that's a really great ad. In the bottom of funnel, you can have a couple of different ad angles. You can go for the discounts, urgency. If you're about to sell out something, you can bundle something together and give people an incentive to purchase. You can do carousels with dynamic retargeting. We're going to give people an additional percentage off if they want to go ahead and buy. Maybe this is for people who've added to cart but not fulfilled their purchase, and so on. It's really just important that within these campaigns, and especially the new approach, I would just be aware of where in the funnel the creative is. Some key takeaways again, guys. The old one is not equal dead, but limited for scaling in post-Andromeda is at least how we are to take in all the updates that Meta is rolling out. But in real life practice, it's not like it's underperforming like crazy. But I do think that with time that we're going to see the new approach do even better, and it's going to be really awesome for scaling at higher ad spends when you have that content machine in place. More creatives equals more chances for Meta to match messages to the audiences. And this doesn't mean for you to just put something together and put it out there. No, actually invest time and effort into making quality creative
creatives. And I would say choose a framework based on your budget plus creative capacity, and you'll be able to get the best results. Last but not least, it's important to build a portfolio of winners, not just one super ad. If you go for one super ad, you might have a great time for a couple of months, and then you're gonna see it fatigue. And if you've not invested in finding new winners, your campaign is gonna completely die, and you're gonna have to dial the spend back by a lot, and then you'll have to scale it back 20% once you find something that is working again. So I definitely recommend you to invest in your creative output. And this right here is exactly what we do at Profit on Ads. We help build systems that feed into Meta's algorithm so that we can create killer results for our clients. Now, if you're an e-com brand and you want our help to structure your campaign so you can stop guessing and actually start scaling, hit the link in the description. Let's get on a call and see if we'll be able to be a great fit for each other, and we'll be able to help you bridge the gap to where you want to take your results, so we can bridge the gap to help you get to where your results need to be. And make sure you like and subscribe to this video. The next video will be even better. It'll be on the content frameworks within these campaign structures that you'll need to be able to scale. Have an amazing day, guys, and take care. Bye-bye.